you know that human error causes 94% of all car accidents? That's what self-driving car companies want you to focus on. But here's what they don't tell you. Their technology might introduce a whole new set of problems we've never seen before. Picture this: a world without traffic jams, where you can sit back and relax while your car drives itself. No more stress, no more accidents. That's the dream these companies are selling us. They show off sleek, futuristic designs and make grand promises about a safer, more efficient future. I've seen countless CEO interviews where they confidently claim their technology will revolutionize transportation. But here's something you might not know. What if this promise is built on shaky ground? What if the cure is worse than the disease? Make no mistake, the hype surrounding self-driving cars is massive, but the reality might be far different from what we're being sold. Imagine a car that can't tell the difference between a plastic bag and a child crossing the street. It sounds absurd, but this is just one of the terrifying scenarios that keep engineers awake at night. When we think of self-driving cars, we often picture a sleek vehicle smoothly navigating through traffic, its occupants relaxed and carefree. But the technology that powers these machines is far more complex and potentially problematic than most of us realize. At the heart of every autonomous vehicle is a sophisticated array of sensors, cameras, and artificial intelligence algorithms. These systems work together to create a digital representation of the world around the car. LiDAR sensors use laser pulses to measure distances and create 3D maps of the environment. Cameras capture visual information, while radar detects the speed and location of nearby objects. But here's where it gets tricky. All this raw data needs to be processed and interpreted in real time. The car's AI system must make split-second decisions based on this information. It's like having a supercomputer and a robot driver rolled into one, processing terabytes of data every second. To put this in perspective, the human brain processes about 11 million bits of information every second when we're driving. Self-driving cars need to match or exceed this capacity to be truly safe, and they're not quite there yet. One of the biggest challenges facing self-driving car developers is dealing with what are called edge cases, rare or unexpected situations that are difficult for AI to handle. These could be anything from a deer suddenly jumping into the road to a traffic cop using hand signals instead of lights. Take the seemingly simple task of recognizing a stop sign. For humans, this is trivial, but for a self-driving car, it's surprisingly complex. The AI needs to identify the shape, color, and text of the sign, even if it's partially obscured or in poor lighting conditions. Now add some graffiti to that stop sign, and you've got a serious problem for the AI. This isn't just a hypothetical scenario. In 2019, researchers from the University of Michigan showed that they could fool a self-driving car's AI by simply adding a few small stickers to a stop sign. The car misinterpreted the sign as a speed limit sign, potentially leading to dangerous situations. And it's not just stop signs. Self-driving cars have been known to struggle with identifying pedestrians with darker skin tones, mistaking shadows for solid objects, and even confusing the moon for a yellow traffic light. These aren't just glitches. They're potentially life-threatening errors. Despite billions of dollars poured into research and development, these fundamental issues persist. Companies like Tesla, Waymo, and Uber have been working on self-driving technology for years, yet we're still far from achieving full autonomy. The truth is, creating a truly autonomous vehicle is an incredibly complex task. It's not just about programming a car to follow traffic rules, it's about teaching a machine to understand and navigate the chaotic, unpredictable world of human behavior on the roads. Think about all these subtle cues and decisions you make while driving. You might slow down when you see children playing near the street, even if there's no sign telling you to do so. You can interpret the body language of a pedestrian to guess if they're about to cross the road. These nuanced judgments are second nature to us, but incredibly challenging to program into a machine. While we've mastered these subtle driving cues, the tech industry thought they could do even better. Remember when Elon Musk claimed Tesla would have 1 million robo-taxis on the road by 2020? Spoiler alert, they didn't. But why were these predictions so wildly off? And what does it mean for the future of self-driving cars? Let's take a trip down memory lane. Back in 2016, Elon Musk confidently declared that Tesla would achieve full autonomy by 2018. Fast forward to 2024, and we're still waiting. But Musk wasn't alone in his optimism. In 2012, Google's Sergey Brin predicted self-driving cars would be available to the general public by 2017. Uber's former CEO, Travis Kalanick, claimed in 2015 that their entire fleet would be driverless by 2030. So, what happened? The reality is that creating a truly autonomous vehicle is far more complex than these tech titans initially thought. To understand why, we need to look at the levels of autonomy in self-driving technology. There are 6 levels, ranging from 0 to 5. Level 0 is no automation at all. That's your grandpa's old pickup truck. Level 1 includes basic driver assistance features like cruise control. Level 2 can handle steering and acceleration in certain situations, but the driver needs to be ready to take over at any moment. This is where most self-driving cars on the road today actually sit. Level 3 is where things start to get interesting. The car can handle most driving tasks, but still needs human intervention in tricky situations. Level 4 is fully autonomous in specific conditions, like a predetermined route or a geo-fenced area. And Level 5, that's the holy grail, a car that can drive itself anywhere, anytime, without any human input. Here's the kicker. Despite billions of dollars poured into research and development, we're still struggling to achieve even Level 3 autonomy consistently. The jump from Level 2 to Level 3 is proving to be a massive technological and regulatory hurdle. Why? Because at Level 3, the car needs to be able to recognize when it's in over its head and hand control back to the human driver. This handoff needs to happen safely, potentially when the human isn't paying attention. It's a problem that's both technological and psychological, and it's proving to be a tough nut to crack. But it's not just about technology. The real world is messy, unpredictable, and full of ethical dilemmas that are hard to program for. Imagine a scenario where a self-driving car has to choose between hitting a group of pedestrians or swerving off a cliff, potentially killing its passenger. How do we program a car to make that decision? It's not just a technical problem, it's a moral one. These challenges have led to some high-profile accidents involving semi-autonomous vehicles. In 2018, an Uber self-driving car struck and killed a pedestrian in Arizona. The safety driver was watching a video on her phone at the time, highlighting the dangers of the handoff problem. Tesla's autopilot system has been involved in several fatal crashes, often because drivers were overly reliant on a system that still requires constant human supervision. These accidents have shaken public confidence and slowed down regulatory approval. They also forced companies to reassess their timelines and promises. Waymo, Google's self-driving car project, has been working on the technology for over a decade and has only recently launched a limited robo-taxi service in a few cities. The hard truth is that some experts now believe true Level 5 autonomy might be impossible with current technology. The world is simply too complex, too unpredictable for our current AI systems to handle every possible scenario. We might be able to achieve Level 4 autonomy in limited controlled environments, but a car that can drive anywhere in any conditions without human inputs? That might be a pipe dream. While tech giants chase the dream of perfect autonomy, they're overlooking a crucial question. What happens when millions of self-driving cars hit the roads? The unintended consequences could reshape our cities, our jobs, and even our privacy in ways we never saw coming. Imagine a world where every car on the road is autonomous. No more traffic accidents, no more road rage, no more tedious commutes. Sounds like a paradise, right? But as the saying goes, be careful what you wish for. This seemingly utopian future might come with a hefty price tag that goes far beyond the sticker price of these high-tech vehicles. Let's start with jobs. The trucking and taxi industries employ millions of people worldwide. What happens when we don't need human drivers anymore? It's not just about unemployment numbers, it's about entire communities built around these industries. Think of small towns along major trucking routes. When self-driving trucks pass through without stopping, these places could become modern-day ghost towns. But it's not just drivers who might find themselves out of work. Think about car insurance agents, traffic cops, even auto body shops. The ripple effect could be enormous. And sure, new jobs will be created in the tech sector, but will they be enough to offset the losses? More importantly, will the people who lost their jobs be able to transition into these new roles? Now, let's zoom out and look at our cities. Self-driving cars could completely reshape urban landscapes. With no need for parking in city centers, cars could drop you off and then park themselves in less valuable areas. We might see a boom in available real estate. Sounds great, right? But it could also lead to increased urban sprawl. If your commute becomes productive time, why not live further from the city? This could lead to more cars on the road for longer periods, potentially increasing overall emissions despite the efficiency of individual vehicles. Speaking of emissions, let's talk about the environment. Yes, self-driving cars could optimize routes and reduce idling time, potentially lowering emissions. But what if the convenience of autonomous vehicles leads to more car trips overall? Instead of walking to the corner store, you might send your car to pick up milk. The net effect on our carbon footprint is far from clear. And then there's the elephant in the room: privacy. Self-driving cars will be data-gathering machines on wheels. They'll know where you go, when you go there, and how long you stay. This information could be incredibly valuable to advertisers, insurance companies, and yes, even governments. Are we ready to trade our privacy for convenience? And what happens if this data falls into the wrong hands? Let's not forget about security. A world of connected, autonomous vehicles is a hacker's dream. Imagine a scenario where a bad actor gains control of thousands of vehicles simultaneously. It's not just about stealing cars, it's about the potential for mass disruption or even weaponization of our transport system. There's also the question of how we program these cars to make ethical decisions. In unavoidable accident scenarios, how does a car choose between protecting its passenger and minimizing overall harm? These aren't just philosophical debates anymore, they're lines of code that need to be written. As we grapple with these ethical dilemmas, an even bigger question emerges: who's actually benefiting from the self-driving car revolution? You might think it's the consumer, but the reality is far more complex. The answer involves billions of dollars, corporate giants, and a web of financial motivations that go deeper than you might expect. Let's pull back the curtain on the major players in this high-stakes game. We've got tech giants like Google and Tesla, traditional automakers scrambling to keep up, and a swarm of startups all vying for a piece of the pie. But here's something you might not know. Even if fully autonomous cars never hit the roads, these companies could still walk away with massive profits. How? It's all about the long game. These companies aren't just investing in cars, they're investing in patents, data, and AI advancements. Every breakthrough, every line of code, every bit of data collected is valuable, regardless of whether it ends up in a self-driving car or not. Think about it. The AI developed for navigating city streets could be repurposed for logistics, robotics, or even military applications. The massive amounts of data collected, that's gold for advertisers and city planners alike. And let's not forget the patents. Even if a company's self-driving car never sees the light of day, they can make a fortune licensing their technology to others. But it's not just about future potential, there's big money to be made right now, and venture capitalists are all too eager to get in on the action. The hype around self-driving cars has created a feeding frenzy of investment. In 2021 alone, autonomous vehicle companies raised over $12 billion in funding. That's a lot of cash chasing a technology that's still years, if not decades, away from widespread adoption. Here's where it gets interesting. Even if these investments don't pan out in the long run, early investors can still make a killing. How? By riding the wave of hype. As more money pours in and valuations skyrocket, early investors can cash out, leaving later investors holding the bag if the technology doesn't deliver. But what about us, the consumers? We're promised safer roads, more free time, and greater mobility, but at what cost? The push for self-driving cars isn't just about making our lives better, it's about opening up new revenue streams for these companies. Imagine a world where your car is essentially a rolling billboard, serving you ads based on your destination. Or consider the value of knowing exactly where you go, when you go there, and how long you stay. This data is a goldmine for companies looking to predict and influence consumer behavior. And let's not forget about the potential for subscription services. Need your car to drive faster or access premium routes? That'll be an extra fee, please. The car you buy might not be fully yours in the traditional sense, but rather a platform for ongoing monetization. Now, I'm not saying that all this is inherently bad. Innovation often comes with a price tag, and the advancements made in pursuit of self-driving cars could have far-reaching benefits beyond transportation. But it's crucial that we, as consumers and citizens, understand the full picture. The massive investments pouring into self-driving technology don't always align with public interest. While safer roads and reduced traffic are noble goals, the primary motivation for many of these companies is profit. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but it's important to recognize it for what it is. So, the next time you hear about a breakthrough in self-driving technology or see a sleek concept car that promises to revolutionize transportation, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, who really stands to benefit? Is this technology truly being developed for the greater good? Or is it just another way for tech giants to expand their influence and bottom line? So here we are, at the crossroads of innovation and reality. We've seen the gap between the grand promises and the sobering truth of self-driving cars. The potential downsides, from job losses to privacy concerns, are as numerous as the supposed benefits. But let's not forget who's really driving this revolution. It's not about us, the consumers. It's about tech giants and investors chasing the next big payday. They're playing a long game where even failure can be profitable. As we look to the future of transportation, we need to ask ourselves some hard questions. Are we solving real problems or just creating new ones? Are we trading our privacy and autonomy for a convenience we might not even need? Pause for a moment and think. In our rush towards a driverless future, are we forgetting to steer our own destiny?